Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Chaos Incarnate podcast. A little bit different episode today. It's just me and Dylan. Everybody
Yep,
else decided to ditch us.
it's just the two of us.
So,
And sadly, no Steve.
yeah,
I was on the phone with Steve today. He's
he's in
very
the
busy.
nether.
So
He's
like,
currently getting blaze rods to build, to
yeah,
go to the end.
but we promise Steve is not gone for good. It's just he's a very busy man. You know, the Minecraft movie's dropping soon. So like
Yeah,
he's
he's got a lot of promotional videos that he has to film. So,
yeah,
he's been on that wave. And
he'll be busy.
Blake, Blake was gonna record. He was down to record, but then we couldn't get everybody here, and then it
So
got too late. So now he's not here. And
so
then
yeah, no, it's
Tim is MIA. I don't know where he is. He's gone. I couldn't find him.
it's like bit of a different episode to where it's kind of just me and Garrett. But since it's a bit of a different atmosphere today, you know, just me and Garrett, we decided to kind of take a bit of a different approach. You know, kind of something a little different from what we usually do. Usually we kind of have this chaotic banter, but today we're gonna do a more focused analytical episode. You know, so sit back, grab your favorite flavor of Monster, and just get ready to hear us yap.
Yeah, we're gonna be calling this segment "Hot Takes." We're taking to the grave. And if you disagree with anything that we say, you're wrong.
It's like, hey, I don't want to tell you, bro. You're wrong, not me.
Simple as that. And there will probably be some arguing back and forth. I'm not gonna lie. I really like to argue.
Don't
So
say that.
whatever he says, I'm definitely going to disagree with it wholeheartedly, just to get a rise out of him. Just so you
Wild.
know.
I was like, okay, but without further ado, let's get to some takes here. Let's get some opinions.
All right. What where do we want to start? Do we want a category wheel,
So I mean, do you want to do that? I'm down.
or do you want to
Is
just
it,
bring something up?
so I'll continue to what us on. So my first topic, the Borderlands series.
Oh yes.
Iconic, iconic. You know, I feel like most people who know anything about gaming, any gamer that is worth their gaming cred, has heard of the name Borderlands.
Mhm.
It knows that like in the beginning, Borderlands it was iconic. It changed the gaming sphere forever. This shit was like Elden Ring before Elden Ring even existed, right? I feel like we can all agree Borderlands changed the gaming sphere. At least Borderlands 1 and 2.
Yeah, agreed.
And I feel like as we moved on
It
to
changed the
games like the
looter shooter genre
pre-sequel,
for sure.
yeah, it's like, but even like that, I feel like Borderlands really like even like on a bigger RPG scale, right? I feel like Borderlands at its time really showed the level of customization that you can put in a game to just let the player have fun. All the different weapons, all the different skill trees, the different class items, the different grenades, and like specifically moving into Borderlands 2, where like all that got even better. Weapons were even more crazy. I remember being a kid and seeing weapons like the conference call for the first time, and my mind was just like blown away by it. It's gun that pinged off of walls. You know, it's like things like the baby maker, a gun that like you threw it in, it blew up and made more guns. Things like the unkempt herald.
Good
There's a
guns.
lot of them
Good
out
guns.
there.
Good good time period.
And
Like
even like the characters, like the Vault Hunters of that time, like Zero, Maya, Salvador, it's Exton. I thought, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Exton. You know, as well as the addition of like Gage Creek. I feel like all that in tandem
Krieg is the best
really,
spell hunter.
really showed that when you're making a game in like an RPG, right? Because I consider like Borderlands to just to like it's a loose shooter, but I consider Borderlands to fall in like the RPG genre. So very like, in my opinion,
For sure.
I feel like Borderlands really pushed the boundaries of the level of like just customization and just player choice. To where it's like the weapons you were using, the way you built your character. It's like, do you want to be a explosive damage Krieg, a melee damage Krieg? Do you want to be a sniper Zero, a melee Zero? You want to be a healer Maya, a elemental Maya? It's like, it's like for Gauge, it's like, did you want to build into Death Trap? Did you want to build into Anarchy? And then you had all these different weapons that could fit into every single different build, despite the fact that I'm sure anyone who knows anything about Borderlands 2 knows that most of its endgame was just using the Unkempt Herald.
Yes,
and a few other.
I agree. Listen, Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games ever.
But its endgame meta did kind of boil down.
You had the fastball as your grenade, no matter what, explosive damage.
Usually
you had
every element of fastball.
No, you just needed explosive. Honestly, you didn't need anything else. Everything else was pointless. Explosive did 2 times more damage than everything else. There was no point of running any. There was what are you going to use a corrosive fastball on? Windhelm? Screw him.
It's like, I won't lie. I definitely do remember sitting there and like every element of fastball, because like I told myself like, oh, there's definitely a reason to have them all. But 9 times out of 10, like you would just throw on like
explosive,
a high damage explosive one. Because it's like, let's be real. I love it. I loved explosive damage. And I honestly, this is kind of like maybe a taken.
Probably the best type of damage besides slag.
I mean, sad to see, like, so
they took it out and added radiation.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, right? I don't mind radiation.
I do. Listen,
Listen,
Dylan. This is the hot take episode. It's say whatever you want, man.
But so here's all this. Radiation felt like it was supposed to be like a dumbed down version of explosive damage, because it's like you would irradiate targets, and when they died, they blew up. Which is like, it felt like it was
radiation. Radiation felt like a more dumbed down version of It felt like a combo of explosive and slag, because it did have like a damage debuff.
Perfectly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is it felt like they took slag and explosion damage and kind of tried to put them together
and failed miserably.
But the baby that came out like died on arrival.
And the baby that came out was inbred.
It's like it didn't hit either of the spots that slag or explosive hit in 2.
Yeah.
Or even like
not good.
And even with the introduction of Cryo in pre-sequel, I liked Cryo. Like, I think Cryo was a cool concept where you could like freeze enemies, but it started to shift into this like thing with Borderlands, to where elements started to get kind of like weird. To where, as they introduced new ones and like changed up how you would approach the old ones, especially with Borderlands 3, the elemental balance started to feel very awkward, because radiation just kind of felt like it had its gimmick, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, it was only good on one character, and if you used it outside of that character, it was literally dog shit.
Yeah,
unusable. If you weren't doing a flak radiation build,
I'll admit it. I play radiation flak.
It was fun. He's fun. It is a fun build, because it's just everything blowing up. But listen, in Borderlands 2, I could get a grog nozzle and use it on any character because it was the best gun in the game for slagging. Or I could get an explosive Unkempt Herald, literally being the best gun for DPS in that game.
Gamer cred check right here. Gamer cred check. If you had yourself a guttural DP Unkempt Herald, let us know.
Yeah, put down in the comments if you had a DP Unkempt Herald. If you don't know what that means, you're not a real gamer. Get the fuck out of here. You don't belong here. Hot take, you don't fucking belong here.
Negative gamer credit if you don't know what a DP Unkempt Herald is. But yeah, like I 100% agree to where
Oh
it's
shit,
like,
I had a take that I. Oh, never mind. I'll talk about it after. But
because like I 100% agree that it's like I feel like the direction they took with Borderlands, especially like Radiation,
it's so
really kind of like brought things down.
and like I'm gonna
And
play 4. I don't have high hopes for the game, if I'm being
yeah, I
honest.
know.
Like
Like
after
I want,
3, I'm just fed up with it.
yeah,
Like Borderlands 2 was held near and dear to my heart. Borderlands 1 is still one of my favorite games ever to go back and replay. Pre-sequel, it gets way too much hate for no reason.
yeah, nah, like, so
One of the better games in the series. Even Tales from the Borderlands is decent,
yeah, like I know that's
except for
another
the
thing.
second
Like,
one. Except for the
the
second one.
original Tales from the
New
Borderlands was,
new Tales from the Borderlands is dog shit. The original one is way
but like
better.
this is kind of the take I was gonna make earlier, but now that we're here, moving on from 3 to where we got to Wonderlands, and I know this is probably the part to where it's like for anyone who knows who plays the Borderlands franchise, this is gonna be the part to where it's either you're gonna be like, oh, he's got a point, or why is this guy talking? He should kill himself. My bad, game and myself.
Yeah, in game, in game, in game.
In game. But like, I feel like Tina's was a solid in the sense of like, how do I word this? I liked a lot of what it brought to the table as a spin-off, right? This was the type of game to where it's like I felt like they could take creative liberties
Hold
because
on,
it
hold on,
kind
hold
of
on. Where you say all that? Because I'm gonna cut that part. Because your mom was in the background.
that's how I was just going to kind of like keep my thoughts moving.
Yeah, no.
We good?
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, so it's like starting over. Moving on from Borderlands 3 is Tiny's ones. And this is like a game that I feel like depending on how you want to look at it, it was either a solid like step in a direction that like has potential, or it was like the worst thing you've ever seen. You would rather like be strapped down to a chair and watch the Borderlands movie like over and over again. But as someone who played like Wonderlands and did enjoy it, I feel like what they did well was what I wish they did with Borderlands 3 a bit more. And that was really give you that shit. Oh my God. 1 second. It's a goddamn trying to record this. Like, I got everyone walking in and out.
Gotta
Okay,
love it.
okay. I'm gonna give it a second before. Okay. I'm gonna start it up again.
There you go.
You're back to the game. So it's like after 3, we arrive at Wonderlands. It's like a game that's probably either you thought it was a step in a fresh direction, or it's a stain on the series, and you'd rather watch the Borderlands movie like chained down to a fucking like electric chair 1,000 times over. I played the game. I enjoyed a lot of what the game brought to the table, but it had its flaws. And the kind of on topics of takes and opinions. I kind of want to say some of the things that like I think would have essentially allowed the game to succeed a bit better. And I'll start with the biggest part, and that is DLC content. I'm sure everyone who's played Borderlands can usually like come to the terms that like post-launch content, specifically DLCs, always had a big part in the Borderlands lifespan of a game, right? Even going back to Borderlands 1 with things like the Claptastic Revolution, I just mixed like two DLCs up. I already know it.
Oh,
You
I
know,
forgot the name of that one, but yes.
it was like Claptrap's Revolution, basically. The Island of Dr. Ned, the Moxie's Underdome, and what was it? I think it was like T-Bone Junction. Also, that was like the main important one. We move on to 2.
Fort Knox.
We had things like Pirates Booty, Hunter's Grotto, uh, obviously Assault on Dragon Keep, and then wow, what's that? Why am
Uh,
I? Oh my God, what was last? Cause there's there's the Pirate one, Hunter's Grotto, Dragon Keep. Why am I forgetting the fourth one? Oh my God.
it doesn't matter.
A badass creator, a bad attitude with Mr. Torque. That's all it was. It was the badass creator, bad attitude. I'm sorry, that one's for all my like badass creator or bad attitude fans. It was very forgettable. Please change your opinion.
Yeah, you're
Like,
wrong.
yeah,
the
it was. I'm sorry. There's a reason I forgot it. That shit was very forgettable. It's pretty sad that
only
Hunter's
good
Grotto.
the only good part about it was Grandma Torque.
That was a separate thing though. That's the worst part. That was its own fucking mini like DLC. It just wasn't it. I'm sorry. It was very forgettable. I think the only thing about like Badass Crater that like people view fondly was farming Pyro Pete to get like Unkempt Hair.
Oh,
That's all
and
that.
for being home of the rarest gun in the game.
So it's like other than that, it's like I don't think anyone's actually out here carrying Badass Crater Badass.
And we love a good Cobra. If you ever get a Cobra,
Yeah,
go buy a
but
lottery
moving on.
ticket.
Pre-sequel was a smaller game, so it had two like DLCs, and only one of them was like story expansion. But this was what I was saying about the Claptastic Voyage. Now, I will say this. I am a Claptastic Voyage stan. There's like I will stand on it that Claptastic Voyage was peak expansion.
Oh.
Peak
Uh,
peak expansion.
I wouldn't say it's peak expansion, but it was very good.
And the reason I say that, okay, so can I have to like give my reasoning? I think we can all agree that one of Borderlands' biggest strong points is its
Is it what?
tuning. It's humor. It's that cartoony kind of teen to adult style humor that like Borderlands often can just make a joke out of anything, and that's what I feel like Claptastic Voyage really excelled in was just making things funny. Most of the DLC, you're inside of Claptrap's head. There's all these jokes about like how big his ego is to how big his self-esteem is, and it's like a big fat robot for the ego, but a tiny little robot for his self-esteem. You have all these little robots following you around asking for money. It's just very goofy, and as you go through, all the areas are all twisted and messed up, and it's like especially for the fact that it's themed around an iconic character like Claptrap. I feel like Claptastic Voyage embodied what I feel like a simpler style of like a smaller scale game could have. And the reason I bring it up is because this is something I feel like with Tina's they really missed out on, and I feel like they did it well with pre-sequel was Tina's tried to do this like I hate to say it, but this like I hate to use the term, but this modernized scheme to where how a lot of companies do it, to where they like try to spread out and drip feed and time gate content. And that's just something that like I never see Gearbox do with even a spin-off was that practice of like being like, oh, spend $10 for this little piece of content and we're gonna drip feed you the content over a course of weeks.
I mean,
That's it.
it is kind of like the format of most games. Like how like we play Destiny. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those that it's like
Pay $20, and over the course of a third of a
months.
year, you get drip fed content. Hell, it just came out on
And
Tuesday, and it was literally a mission and a half, and that was it. And I was so
but
happy to play it.
but just, like the thing was I feel like okay. In the defense of Destiny, I'll come to the defense of Destiny. I feel like with their story premise, the story's moving forward. And like it's not always a big revelation, but I feel like with the way Destiny's structured, it's moving. My problem with what they did with Wonderlands was it wasn't this evolving story. It was like a boss that like got progressively stronger over the weeks. And to fight like the full version of the boss fight, you had to wait like 4 weeks to fight the boss in its full form. Which is
Yeah,
like,
the DLCs for that game were kind of whack. I'm gonna be
and
honest.
that's why I bring up the Claptastic Voyage, is because I feel like one thing that really would have completely changed how Tina's life cycle, like the game's life cycle was, is I feel like they should have taken a page from pre-sequel and just given us kind of just like at least one
Well,
story expansion. Just take all these bosses that you wanted to sell separately and just take them all. Take like these four or so bosses that like they had planned or whatever, like in like just the new classes they want. Just take like like just two new classes, your four new bosses, just jumble them all together in like one little expansion and just add like a little sub story to it. But just have it be like one thing that you go through and you fight all the new bosses. You got some little missions, some in between that kind of give you a little side story, maybe some little side quests here and there. It didn't need to be anything big, but I feel like if they went for more of like the past expansion style structure, the
see,
game would have just had a lot better like reception.
my main thing is with Wonderlands, like Wonderlands didn't have a lot of replayability like the other games. That was my problem. That and
Yeah,
three, like both it and three had the same issue. There was no
yeah.
replayability. And that's like the whole thing with Borderlands. You can
Is it
play the game over and over
over?
again,
It's like it
and
just
it
keeps right.
will almost always be a different
Yeah.
time you're playing it.
No.
But
So,
three
but
didn't
like
have
this
DLC,
one,
Vault Hunters, well,
that was another thing that like kind of
and
really,
Tina's didn't
really
have any
annoyed me.
like it didn't have any DLC classes.
It had one,
Yeah, it had like
like
one, and it wasn't good. It
yeah,
wasn't like it
like
was barely usable
yeah, that like that was the
in
problem
late
with
game
it
content.
was like that's why I feel like the problem was like the way they approached the content made it really hard to add more classes because since we didn't get like what other Borderlands had, to where we got like at least like one actual expansion that like kind of really revamped the game.
Right.
It made it very hard to add like any new classes because how do you read? How do you define? Like I don't want to use the word meta, but I guess I'll kind of use it. How do you redefine a meta unless you actively try to like
Yeah.
improve upon what is there? And I've like that's the thing when like when a company doesn't try to redefine what the players know about the meta, the gameplay loop, all that, that is where you end up in. It's like Destiny falls into this criticism a lot as well, and sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes I do feel like people react, but it's how do you redefine a meta without like making a massive wave?
Yeah.
Because like when you kind of drip feed,
I don't know.
it's like it's a lot harder to redefine how I'm meant to play the game when it's like when you're drip feeding me that content. And like from a story perspective, I don't think it's bad. Like with Destiny, I don't think the drip fed story is the problem, but I do understand how it's like when we get into
No.
seasonal weapons, like where it's like
My
sometimes.
my final take on this is that hey, don't be it's okay to do something new, right?
Yeah,
Completely okay. Like look, they took a risk with Borderlands 3. Borderlands used to be you are on one planet. I mean, maybe you kind of spread out like throughout like different parts of that planet. But Borderlands 3 had what? 6? 7?
yeah, several different
It was
planets.
like 6 or 7 different
And
planets.
then all the DLCs were on their own
Yeah, and then
planet.
every DLC was on its own planet, which there was what, 4? 3?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't remember.
It was like
I
four.
only played through all of them once, and then I didn't care anymore.
Krieg's mine technically wasn't.
You flew to it, and it was a planet.
It's like it was its own unique.
But anyways, it was a big risk, and that risk didn't pay off.
Yeah, like I feel like Borderlands 3.
But the thing was, like, it wasn't the multitude of planets that I feel like really killed the game. It was the thing that killed Borderlands 3 was the fact that there was no variety.
Yeah,
there was one build for every character, and if you didn't use it, you couldn't, like, the character kind of fell short, and it wasn't keeping up with other characters. Like, yeah, sure, if you're using like the mid-tier build for every character, yeah, they're gonna keep up, but you're using the mid-tier build. Like, there's only one high-tier build for every character, like, except for like Flak. Flak had like two. He had a radiation build and he had a crit build, but then they killed the crit build.
Even the crit build got like killed very short.
But it was the same exact thing for Tiny Tina's because they used the same exact model. They used the same exact model, and no matter what, once you got to like the end game, every single class only had one real build that you could build into.
I feel like one of the big things was I saw someone say this, and I kind of agree because, like, listen, from the moment I played the game, I played Graveborn, which was like the Necromancer class.
Yeah, I don't remember what I played. I could not tell you.
And like, I will agree because I once saw someone. They said one of their biggest problems with Tina with Wonderlands was Graveborn was like the objectively best class because you were almost unkillable on it.
Yeah.
And when they said that,
there shouldn't be a best class in a Borderlands game. That's the whole thing.
Right, because it's like, like you were near unkillable with, and so this is one thing I liked about Tina's was dark magic, which dark magic was the new element for the game that whenever you dealt damage, you regen health. And then obviously Graveborn was the dark magic class. So dark magic was already very overpowered because it allowed you to heal on hit as long as you could deal damage and it had ammo. And then you combine that with a class that further buffed dark magic. Yeah. So where it's like Graveborn was virtually unkillable as long as you like had 2 brain cells.
All right, here I'm gonna wean us off of this point because we've been yapping about this one for 30 minutes, and if we keep going like this, we're going to be stuck here for another 45. I don't want 45 minutes of just Borderlands. If you like 3, you're wrong. If you like Tiny Tina's Wonderland, you're wrong. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, like I feel like my closing point on it is I said this real quick is I think it's okay for companies to try something new, but I think it is also it's okay to try something new, see that it doesn't work, and like just keep you gotta keep going. Like you can't just try something new, see it doesn't work, and then just like keep being like, oh, let's do it again, maybe it'll work. That's not how it works. So you can't just keep trying that same thing and hoping it's gonna magically work next.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's it for Borderlands. That's all we got for yapping about them. Hold on, let me pull out this wheel that I made real quick.
Yeah, we'll move on to something a bit more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the hot take that I was gonna say earlier. Stop complaining about the price of video games. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that is definitely one that like I'm too much death about. But my sort of take on is if like if you enjoy a game, I look at it this: if you enjoy a game,
listen. If you want to spend the $200-something that it's gonna be to play GTA 6, and you've been dying to play GTA 6, go ahead and spend that money. Am I gonna judge you for spending $200 on GTA 6? Yeah,
Probably.
but I'm not judging you because you spent $200 on a game. I'm judging you because you spent
It's
$200
GTA.
on GTA 6.
But like,
That's
yeah,
it.
no, that's literally how I'd say, bro. Simple thing about game prices, I look at it like this: if you're excited for a game and you feel like you're gonna enjoy the game, if it costs $70,
Who
if you
cares?
put like,
If you
if
have
you
the
put,
money, if you have the money to pay for it, pay for it. Play the game. Enjoy it.
yeah, I look at it like this: if you buy a game for $70 and you get like at least 100 hours out of it, and like this was like, I said this to you recently: if you spend $70 on a game and you get like 100 hours of it that you were just in love, having fun, I feel like that is more than worth the seventy
Listen,
dollars.
That's more than $1 an hour. Like what? That's like a dollar 30
So
per
it's like,
hour
yeah,
that you're
pretty much.
like.
So it's like if you could put like
That's a
if you
pretty
could
good
at least
ratio.
like, if you could at least like almost 100 hours game and you enjoyed it, I feel like that's worth the price.
Hell, like listen. I've played games that are completely free to play and I enjoyed them. And I've also played games that I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars
It's
on
like,
and
you know,
enjoyed them just as much.
like we brought it up, but I'll kind of bring it up again. Hey, we still both play Destiny, and that game's been going on for a while, and it's taken a fair bit of money to keep up with it. And we've had people who come to us being like, "Why are you guys still playing it? It's a scam. They're robbing you of your money." And we always say the same thing: we enjoy playing the game.
We enjoy it. I'm not gonna
Sometimes
stop
it's
playing
not a
something that I
scam.
enjoy. That's like if I went up to some kid who's obsessed with Fortnite and said, "Why do you have all these Fortnite skins? They don't do anything for you in the game." And he's just like, "I like the way they make me feel in the game." Who am I to tell the kid to not like playing
Like,
Fortnite? He's
it's
having
like
fun.
if you got the money and you enjoy the game, like I always look at it like this. So something I talk to my mom about a lot is it's like, well, I say like money comes and goes, but like experiences like are like always there, right? Like memories are always there. The feeling is always there. Money will come and go, but like the memories you make and the happiness you feel is like that will always be there. It's like, listen, you're gonna spend $70 on a new game. You're gonna earn that $70 back at some point. And I guarantee you, if you didn't spend that $70 on that game, you would have spent it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Money comes and goes, but it's like the memories you make playing that game are always gonna be with you.
Listen, do you know how many like $5 to $10 games I've just me and my like family or friends have just bought because we're like, oh yeah, let's try it out, and we just have a blast.
It's like money comes and goes, but like
At the end of
the
the
good
day,
times
if you're
are
having
always with you.
fun, what the fuck does the price tag matter? Like, yeah, obviously, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Like if you need the money to
Do
eat
like, yeah,
dinner,
that's, yeah.
if you need the money to
Eh,
eat dinner,
no,
maybe don't buy the game.
no,
But if you don't need the money
we're
to
not
eat dinner,
condoning.
and
We're
then
not condoning irresponsible spending. We are not condoning irresponsible
I mean,
spending.
I do live fast, die faster
Live
type shit. I mean,
live
you
fast,
only live
die
once. But yeah, stop complaining about the price of video games. Who the like
like,
shut
just
up.
have fun.
Do you know how much it costs to make a AAA title? Shut the fuck up.
Millions of dollars, millions of dollars.
Several million dollars. How yeah, you want
They take
they put several million dollars into making this game and you're complaining that you have to spend $70 to play it?
it's like to also add to it about a time perspective. Depending on the size of the game, it takes years to make games. Even a small indie game can still take like upwards of a year to 2 years.
What the Hollow Knight, man?
Big AAA games can take anywhere from like half a decade to there are some games that have taken a decade.
Like GTA 6
Like there are some games that
or
have
Silk Song. How long have we been waiting for Silk Song?
it's like
We're never getting
and
Silk Song, bro. Like
it's
at this
never
point, it's not coming out. I refuse to believe that it is.
not real.
Like,
Yeah, so it's like just in general, I feel like whenever people look at a game and it's like, oh, it's $70, for the new Monster Hunter, or $50 for the new Destiny expansion, or this
Blah 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 blah. I can't. I don't want to spend this money on a video game. What else are you gonna spend it on?
I look at it like
Would you
this.
rather spend money on having fun or spend your money on fucking
Yeah, it's like I look at it like this. One,
like a
it's like
bottle of tequila and sadness?
like one, is it like if you know you're gonna be having fun, enjoy yourself. Two, also, kind of being a bit more respectful to the developers. Just keep in mind that like the games are made by people who also have families. And like a lot of these developers, I'm not trying to like make this as like a statement here, but like a lot of these developers that make these big long games are working like overnight shifts. They're out of town at times to be like at the studio. It's like this is their livelihood, but it's like also a lot of them, they gotta sacrifice potentially time with their friends and families to make sure this game gets out on time.
Yeah.
So I mean, kind of put yourself in their shoes of like, you're going out of your way to like be at the studio like 7 days a week to make sure this game gets out on time. And then you see people online complain about the price.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, these are people. Like that's all I'm saying. Like developers are people.
Yeah.
They're not perfect.
Stand up for developers. The developers' lives matter.
It's like real talk. Like
anyways,
developers are people. They're not perfect.
That's all I had to say about that. I'm gonna spin this wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's my next hot take. I have games, anime, and life on it. Let's see what it gets on.
Games, anime, life, bro.
Oh, is that anime?
Oh damn, we're in for a treat.
Oh, we got games again. All right.
No.
Another hot take in a video for a video game. If I recommend a video game and it's something that you don't normally play, fucking try the game.
Yeah.
Listen. So, I'm not telling you that like you have to go ahead and go put 700 hours into a video game, but if I recommend something to you, all I do outside of my job at work is play video games and edit for this podcast.
Because I play a lot of games, guys.
I have nothing else better going for my life. If I'm recommending a video game, it's because I genuinely think the game is good. So please give me the respect I deserve and just try it. If you don't like it, there's a reason why every single place where you can buy video games has a return function.
So,
oh, you bought it on Steam? You have 24 hours to return that video game.
That take kind of goes in what I was going. Because it kind of goes in line with like people trying games. But mine is kind of like, because this is something I see a lot, right? And going in line with like trying a game, even if it's something you don't
play. I really
play.
want to get anime. I have an anime hot
take. This is one thing. I'll say this is to games in general. That like just hot take here. Stop complaining about the balance between combat and like in story, right? Like this is what I see so much, to where it's like people will play a game that is clear that's very combat, right? Like Souls games, a lot of action RPGs, a lot of like looter shooters, like we've talked about, and especially when they run into hurdles, like they run into hurdles. They get mad and they're like, oh, blah blah blah. Like, why why is the game putting so much emphasis on the combat? It's like, why is a story driven game putting so much emphasis on the combat?
Listen. If you're playing a Souls-like game or anything of that style, it's not a story driven game, dude.
Because
You try to explain to me the lore of Elden Ring or Dark Souls or Bloodborne right now. You can't, because all you know is the funny bosses.
It's like, here's what gets me. This is why I bring it up as like a hot take. Is I see this so commonly, to where it's like I think people forget that you're playing a game.
You're not watching a movie.
I love narrative driven games. I am a very big story driven game guy. But I will also say that, in my opinion, some of the best story driven games I've played also have some of the funnest combat within their respective genre, whether it be action, turn based, looter, shooter, etc. It's like I love them for their story, but it's because
their gameplay's also really good.
they had a good gameplay that like I had no problem like sitting like in the gameplay longer than like the actual cutscenes or like narrative bits, because at the end of the day, it's a game. I'm there to play.
Exactly.
I don't know about you. I don't want
to pay $70 to watch a movie. Listen, if I wanted to go watch a movie, I could go to the AMC theater 2 towns over and pay $10 for a ticket.
It's like,
bring 7 of my friends and spend that $70.
It's like, if I'm playing a game, I want there to be like.
Hey, and if you enjoy movie games, there's a lot of them. I forgot what the exact genre is called, but
what is it? Yeah, honestly, so also as conflict tip, if you are someone who you like games but you don't like combat focused games, but it's like you like these sorts, try out graphic novels. I myself dabble in graphic novels every so often. There's some really good graphic novels out there. Danganronpa is a solid one. Give or take, it's an acquired taste. But like, there's some great graphic novels out there. Check them out, Or like, there are games that don't really focus on combat, Ace Attorney series, maybe check out the Ace Attorney series, just pretty good games.
Ace Attorney's pretty good. Go play a visual novel if you want a movie game. Anyways, that's all I got on that. And I'm spinning this wheel again. I'm spinning the wheel again.
Oh, bro, spin the wheel like you could just bring up anime, bro. Hot take about the hot take segment.
Yeah, but the wheel looks funny. I made it a cookie. I got anime. Let's go. All right, I got the anime hot take.
Oh, damn.
One Piece isn't too long. You're just a bitch. Simple fact.
I agree with this.
If you don't have the patience to sit there and watch like 20 minutes of an anime a day, you don't watch anime.
Yeah. So this is like one thing that
if you think and especially with something like One Piece, bro, like every single episode in One Piece is like genuinely every single episode in One Piece is good.
It's like, yeah, it's
like I can't think off the top of my head a bad episode of One Piece. I mean, there might be a couple like in like pre-time skip, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, so no, kind of add to the One Piece takes, right? So here's mine. Is so kind of a hot take here is people need to understand why One Piece shifted. Like this is something that people need to understand. Is like, if we look to like pre-war to post-war, to where when One Piece started, it was very funky, goofy, laughs, ha ha, to where now One Piece is a lot more like intense like fights. There's a lot more like emphasis on what's happening in the story. There's a lot more like crazy plot twists. Well, people need to understand, One Piece is a really long anime. Yes, it's been around for a really long time. It had to change. Like, Oda as a writer and just One Piece as a series, it had to evolve. It had to change. This is something that I've been talking about a lot recently, where it's like people need to understand whether you like it or not. I'm not saying you need to like change. I'm not saying you need to accept it. I'm not saying just because something you like is changing, that means you need to just like cave and immediately be like, oh, I love the new version of it. But I feel like everyone needs to accept this. It like One Piece had to change, because if it was still the same 90s anime, it just
If it was
It would
Yayo, don't give it up Luffy type shit,
it
all
would
the way
not be as big.
into the 21st century,
One Piece would have never made it this far
One
if
Piece
it
would have
didn't have
died at
that.
episode at Marineford. At Marineford, it would have died.
It's like Oda had to shift it to a more serious shonen. Otherwise, it just wouldn't have like lasted because it's like I'm sorry, times are changing. People like the grand masses, like the days of funny '90s anime.
And also, um, here's a quick other hot take. No need to elaborate on it. Isekai is bad. Um,
He's against bad.
Isekai is bad. If you like
Is that a hot
Isekai, if you like
take? That's
Isekai
a hot
anime,
take.
either you're a literal infant or you're like a 40-year-old virgin that's obsessed with waifus.
It's like
You are the living embodiment of otaku. You are Sephiroth Sword 57 type shit.
it's like bro hoping he gets hit by truck.
Yeah, you want to get hit by truck goon. You are actively playing in traffic every day, trying to get hit, but it hasn't happened yet.
Like,
Anyway,
like,
yeah, that was just a quick hot take. That dude, I just don't understand. Like, listen, I mean, I guess you could technically call solo leveling like an isekai. He died and came back, but at the end of the day, it's not really an isekai.
no, so have to like open this.
I'm watching two animes right now, and I mean, you could try and convince me that they're an isekai, and they're both not, in my opinion.
Well, because we had this discussion, right? Because we talked about it. Because like usually when like we have the standard, it's usually like a character like dies in their world, comes back in another.
Yeah,
But then we brought up, it's like if a character dies in their own world and
and then
comes
comes
back in
back,
their own world,
but
even if
has
they're
power,
technically like a
better.
different, or even like let's say like they get reincarnated, but they're still in their world. Is that like would anyone listening consider that an isekai? So it's like if a character dies and comes back within their own world, is that an isekai? Because
Listen.
to
You want
me,
what I see in isekai? When I look at isekai, I think of stuff like that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
yeah, to me, I
Fucking
feel like a fundamental aspect of an isekai, and like this is obviously just my opinion. I feel like a fundamental aspect of an isekai is the character needs to come back in a different, because I feel like
yeah.
that opinion sets apart a isekai from
I
just
mean,
a
like
normal
when Sun Jinwoo died and came back with the system, like hunters were already a thing in his world. They already existed. It's not like he
yeah.
died and then hunters were just everywhere. No, they were already a thing. He was one, and then he died because he was shit. And now he's a very hot Korean man that I won't go into detail, but yeah, dude's piping. That's all I gotta say. Dude got the baddest bitch in the
Yeah.
entire series.
Because that's what I like look at. Is I feel like a fundamental part is that the character has to come back in a world that was not there. Because I think if a character
And like,
dies and comes back, whether they're the same person, a new person, whether they have powers or something different, I feel like if they're still in their same world, I feel like it's not really an isekai. Because at that point, what differs a character that can like reincarnate in general from a character in an isekai? And I feel like the one big thing is the world aspect. Because
it's
there's a
like
lot of characters that
like
can
Doctor
reincarnate.
Stone, dude. Like, I'm watching Solo Leveling and Doctor Stone. Only two animes that I'm watching. And Doctor Stone, like, I wouldn't call it an isekai. I could see how you could argue it is, because, like, I mean, like, I guess it is technically like a new world, but I don't see it as
Yeah,
one,
but
because like
no, I feel like
it's
because
just
like
a
Doctor
Stone
Stone
Age.
is kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel that's sort of like one of those. That's kind of like a concept because it's like yeah, the world has changed a lot since they were all brought to stone, and it's like it's basically like they're back in the Stone Age. But I mean, you could put that in the other way, right? To where it's like if that happened to us, if you were in like a cryopod for thousands of years, and then you came back and
It's like Futurama,
human-
dude.
like humanity's gone.
Is Futurama an isekai because Fry got fucking cryogenically frozen and was put 2,000 years into the future?
Yeah, so it's like that. It's like, yeah, that's not the world you know anymore. But in the same vein, you are still within the same realm that you hail from. This is still your world. It has just changed a lot since you were last actively a part of it. And that's where I feel like isekais kind of get their distinction is usually the characters coming back in a world that is completely different from where they were.
Yeah,
I feel like if a character comes back in the same world, it's not really an isekai because they're still technically a part of that world.
yeah,
It's just that they fight and come back.
yeah. That's all I got for anime though. I don't really have any other anime hot takes. Do you want another wheel spin? Too late. I already did it.
No, I mean, yeah, so
Oh, are we getting life? We're getting life hot takes.
life hot takes.
Life hot takes. All right.
Damn.
Hot takes about life. Ready for this? Everybody's heard it. All growing up, treat people the way you want to be treated. That's bullshit sometimes.
Yeah, I like it.
Sometimes you treat people very kindly, and they're just assholes. They're born truly just to be shitheads. At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's like
Some people are just assholes.
It's like I feel like it simply comes down to like, in life, this isn't a game, this isn't an anime. You can't talk no jutsu everybody.
Exactly.
Like,
this is you are not Naruto.
It's like you cannot talk no jutsu everybody.
No,
just
you
'cause you're
cannot.
nice to people and you try to like tell them to see like you could be good. Like I'm sorry, that's life hot take. Life is not an anime or a game. You are not the main character. You cannot talk no jutsu people out of being bad people.
Yeah. And also, like,
so
what was I about to say?
So I have a life hot like when I like.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
My life hot take is stop treating other people like they are God. This.
Yeah,
is
stop meat riding. Stop meat riding so much. Stop with the meat riding.
It's like how we were talking about game developers earlier, and I was like, remember that game developers are people. It's like they make mistakes. Like there are times where they're gonna mess up. Like there are times where they're not gonna get things right. Just be willing to give constructive criticism and understand that it's like these are real people who have to work on this game. It takes time. It takes dedication. And that applies to just everything. And the reason I say stop treating people like gods is like I see so many people who like whether it's an actor, a musician, a streamer, someone just with a platform in general.
I love Kaisenat. He's so cool. I love Kaisenat.
They put these people up on pedestals, like they're these like great like higher beings. And it's not. It gets to the point where it's not even just like admiration. It is literally like worship. It's like creating your own religion around.
Yeah.
It's like Scientology. It is literally like Scientology to where they worshipped L. Ron Hubbard. It's like it gets to the point where some people take like a person that is at the end of the day a person that has flaws, that has just all like problems, that has they can do wrong, and they will put them on these pedestals, and they will look at them that it's like this person's flaws like don't shove them away. Do not acknowledge the person's flaws. Do not acknowledge their problems. Do not acknowledge that they can do wrong or they can mess up. It is just always this person is the greatest. They are awesome. I love them. They can do no wrong. it's like, stop doing that, because it's like, at the end of the day, not only are you enabling these people to just basically feel like they can get away with shit that they shouldn't be allowed to get away with. Let's be honest. You're also hurting yourself as a person by putting these people higher, because you're just messing it up in your own head.
Yeah.
And you're not like you're not judging people as a person. It's like,
Yeah.
because in your head you're building this hierarchy to where some people are better, some people can do no wrong, some people are the greatest. Oh, I love this guy, he made my favorite album, or I love this guy, he made my favorite movie, or I love this guy, he's my favorite streamer, and they do everything right, and everything they do is amazing and a masterpiece, and I
See,
lick their ass if they told me to. And
and
I'm like,
the
wow.
other thing that I'll say, one other life hot take, everybody should experience an ego death. Just saying. At some point, you need to get your ego crushed to be a normal functioning member of society. Get rid of the God complex. Get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there, bro. You're benefiting nobody with one of those.
Yeah,
You
there's
are
like,
no benefit to society with a God complex.
I'm sure there's like sayings. I can't think of like one specifically off the top of my head, but I think it's a concept that is spoken of. I actually take it back. I can't think of something. Stoicism. So for those who don't know, and just Stoicism, the simple practice of Stoicism is the obstacle is the way. You cannot control what life throws at you, but you can control how you react to it. The reason I bring this up within the ego death thing is because it's something I feel like a lot of people need to understand, and I feel like it plays part in like finally killing that ego. Is like, you got to accept that it's like you are not in control of everything around you. You are
For
not in
real.
control of the world around you, people around you.
Listen,
All you can truly control is your own actions and how you
listen.
react to
If
what
you got
happens.
people, if it, let, I'm gonna use Kai Cenat as an example, just because I was already had Kai Cenat on the brain. I don't watch Kai Cenat. I don't find his content appealing. But if I met him, I would be cordial with him because he's a human being. Um, Other people would see Kai Cenat and treat him like a grovel at his feet like he's an emperor of the olden days, which doesn't make sense to me because I thought we left that in the past. I thought we got done with all that. But the point, like, why? Just do you think this guy needs that?
Yeah, no.
Do you think he wants this? What makes you think that Kai Cenat of all people wants you groveling at his feet and kissing his toes?
Kind of swapping to the other side of, because you bring up like, it's like grovel, I'm like an emperor. Kind of swapping to the perspectives of not just the people who are looking at these people like gods, but to people who have like a following, or even to people to where it's just like there are people in your life that look up to you, often look to you for answers. Kind of once again bring up Stoicism. I'm gonna bring up the Emperor Marcus Aurelius,
Oh yes, good guy.
who was
Not
a
good
devout
guy.
Stoicist, but in a lot of his diaries, which got turned into books, which honestly one day I really want to read Meditations. Very interesting, especially for those who strive to like be in a leadership role in their life. It's he often spoke of the saying that they say absolute power corrupts absolute, but does that always have to be the truth? And what Marcus Aurelius was talking about is like, we as people often build these hierarchies and we put these preconceptions on something to where it's like people who have power are eventually going to become bad, corrupted, greedy, and just exploit others for their gain. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't have to be the way, because at the end of the day, just as Stoicism is built on the premise of the obstacle is the way, you cannot choose the hand that you are dealt, but you can choose how you play it. It is the same thing with having a position of power. It's like there is nothing that says you have to use that position of power to be a bad person. That power, the simplest way to word it is, if you are in a position of power and you are a bad person, the power did not make you a bad person. You were a bad person to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That is the simplest way to explain it. It's like, if they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, then it's like, I feel like that just shows that power is often given to those who are just bad to be. Because it's
Yeah.
like, people are allowed to choose. You do not have to be a bad person. Marcus Aurelius's entire story goes now he tried his best to be an emperor in the Roman Empire, a place that was known for tyrants. He tried his best to not be a tyrant because he believed that it was his life, it was his rule. Just because he was the emperor didn't mean he had to be a tyrant. Now, Marcus Aurelius wasn't perfect, obviously. He was a man, he was human. I'm sure he did things that weren't exactly the greatest. I'm sure he made decisions. I mean, people betrayed him. It's like there were times where he was betrayed. There were times where it's like a lot of things happened under his rule. But at the end of the day, he still believed that the line between being a person of integrity and just overall the ability to be a person who's willing to strive for a better tomorrow, the line between that and a tyrant was only as thin as you let it be. If you truly believe in upholding virtues, you can uphold those virtues. And that applies to anyone. Even if you are just a person who is a normal person, whether you work a 9 to 5 or you go to school, or even if you're just a gamer, the line between upholding virtues and becoming an egotistical tyrant is completely up to you. You are the person who dictates what side of that line you fall on.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't have said it better myself. But we're rolling up on time here.
Yeah.
I would just like to say, um, fuck you, Blake. Fuck you, Tim. Um, just know, uh, we will be waiting for the next time we get to have Dylan and Garrett's hot take corner, and you best believe the next time it's going to be 10 times better. We are always prepared for the hot take corner. Always.
Yeah, it's like, kind of a bit of closing. It's a very different episode, obviously. Normal for normal bit we go for. This was a lot more obviously here, and this really letting ourselves have these longer conversations that get a bit more heated. But obviously, this is probably isn't gonna be the direction we're like forward. Blake and Tim are not gone forever and exiled yet. So there's still probably going to be some shenanigans here and there, but we look forward to the next chance we kind of get this moment to have another kind of sit down and just really get into some like heavier topics that we don't usually do on the like normal.
On the normal pod situation.
Yeah.
But to close us out, I'm going to spin this wheel. It has all of our names on it. And whatever happens, happens.
Let's go.
Who's gonna win? Oh, congratulations, Dylan.
Oh, it's me.
Dylan has won this episode of the Chaos Incarnate podcast. Take us out of here, brother.
Well, it's an honor to once again win. Let me say that. And I truly hope that everyone listening enjoys this kind of style of episode we went to. I personally prefer these more in-depth, deep talks myself. So I'm truly, hoping that I get another chance to kind of sit down with maybe just me and Garrett and kind of have another one of these episodes. But other than that, it's been fun to be here and kind of have this change of pace. And I hope everyone listening enjoys it. And well, this has been the Chaos Incarnate podcast. Stay chaotic until next time.